Good morning, and good morning. All right, it's beautiful outside. I'm looking out my window here through my kitchen. I'm down in my little family room here, and I'm looking out, and it's beautiful. It is absolutely, and I see I need to clean the windows, but but that's another day. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That's definitely another day. But I'm excited. Today is just going to be a great day for me. How about you? How's your day going to be? What do you have planned? I woke up this morning and I just said, okay, I have a big thing I'm going to do downtown today with some young people, some diplomats that are coming in from France, and so I'm on the schedule. And my word for them is service because they're young in their careers, and they're just starting out, and they're trying to figure out how do I give service and what is required of me in the service that I'm giving. So that's going to be a fun session for me. And so I've been up preparing for that as well as you all. I'm preparing for you all too. So this morning I chose the word bias. I just watching some things on TV and reading some things online, and just realizing that regardless of who we are, we may think we don't have any biases, but we do. Um, and it may be the environment we were raised in, the culture that we know about, of that what we've been exposed to. It's our friends, it's our family, it's our orientation to the world. So how do we behave? How do we even realize that there's an unconscious and a conscious way of dealing with our biasness? Sometimes we don't even realize that we have all that going on. Good morning, Eurydice. Good morning, Marion. How are you guys doing? Florida Department of Educational. Okay, all right, that's true. But we just want to just kind of be conscious of the fact that even if we're not paying attention to what's happening, doesn't mean that we're not a part of the silent majority, or the silent conversations that we have with ourselves of why would they do that? Why am I thinking this? Why am I in this space? Why do I have those ideas? We are who we are, regardless. We are who we are. Good morning, Rhoda. How are you doing, sweetie? Good morning. Good morning, beautiful, to you too. Good morning to all my beautiful girls and handsome guys that come into this space. I'm always excited about whoever drops in. You don't have to stay here because I know some of you are working and you may just pop in and pop out. That's okay. I don't mind it. But I was just looking at this morning, and I just said it. And one of the questions, what is an example of a unbiased people? And that was the question. And this was dealt with in 2017 through a study that was done. And it says one of the biases that people have is that women are weak, you know, or certain men are lazy, um, or it might be the blondes have more fun. It doesn't matter what they are. It's just saying that they exist, and we must be conscious as much as we can of in our biases, that we don't just outsource people, take them out of our lives just because we think a certain thing about them. In fact, maybe that's when you want to get to know them. What else are they about? What else do they have going on? Good morning, Debbie. Missed you last week. I only saw you once. And I love you. So when you're not there, I'm always worried about you. But thank you for coming in today. Good morning, Barbara, my little friend from church, my friend from church. Good morning. Good morning. So anyway, this is a study that was done. It says biases are beliefs that are not founded by known facts about someone or about a particular group of individuals. It says, for example, one common bias is that what I said is that women are weak. Another bias is that blacks are dishonest, when in most they are not. So sometimes we just have to be careful about what we see, what we think we saw. And sometimes you have to talk through stuff, and what you seen didn't really go on. So it means we brought something with it. We added something to it. Good morning, Kalithia. How are you doing, sweetie? Erica, love you guys. I just love it when I see you guys' names come in the thing there. But I'm just excited about the fact that I'm willing, if you're willing, that we'll just talk, we'll break bias down and what bias means. Um, so when we go back and we really look at the word bias, bias is basically it's prejudice in favor of or against one thing or person or group compared with another, usually in a way considered to be unfair and prejudiced. And sometimes we're afraid to say that it is what it is. That the horse is not walking right. The horse is a swag. Some sway down in their their back. We may not see that. We may look at the horse and say the horse looks fine. You know, we may see a lot of things that aren't there. You know, hi Joan, that's so sweet. Hey Joan. I love it when you all are cross the thread at each other. I just love it. I just think this is the way. This is definitely a way. I wouldn't have thought this, when I first started doing Are You Stuck years ago, like 2016. Come on now. 2016 to now, I've been doing Are You Stuck, but I always did it as a face-to-face. So to see it being, operating in this platform is just a real rise to me. But it says that, when we talk about these biases, we're talking about partiality, favoritism, unfairness, one-sidedness. Because let's face it, we can look at one side and not see the other. We can look up and not look down. We can look across and not see. We can look down and be down in it so that we think we're down the furthest and something's beneath us. There's always a way of looking at stuff. It talks about bias being bigotry, intolerance, racism. It says sexism, heterosexism, homophobia, anti-Semitism. In fact, I was just watching TV. I think it was last night. It was on again this morning, where someone threw a brick through a Jewish synagogue. So we have to, and the brick stated that that white lives matter, all lives matter, all lives matter. It may be somebody's in the limelight for a short period of time, but that doesn't mean that they out trump, they outgrow, outlight, outshine others. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It just, life is. We're all here trying to make it through till it's time to go on wherever we're going to go when we leave here. I hope I'm going to heaven. I'm going to tell you that right now. I hope. I'm putting my bid in. Oh Lord, take me up. Okay. It also talks about discrimination, a jaundiced eye. I never heard that statement before until I read it this morning. A jaundiced eye. Jaundice is usually yellow, so that means you can't, it's not clear. It's not clear. Predisposition. How could we be leaning a certain way, not realizing all that there is? It says having a tendency to do something that may be insulting to others. Proclivity, inclination. So some of us do have an inclination that we might be less. We might treat people less than what we should. Look, I'm going to put on my little glasses because I see you all putting stuff over there. Bad attitude. Ooh, what you say. Behavior, bad attitude, bent, bummer. I love all of those. And it's so true because some of us do have bad attitudes. We do. So it talks about, when we have this thing, bias, when we're biased, we're stuck. I don't care who we are stuck, and as I said, all of us have them. So occasionally we say, okay, we just get in our feelings. We get in our head that we got it right and someone else has it wrong. We're in the good lane, they're in the bad lane. We're in the up, they're in the down. We're in the accepted, they're in the unaccepted. We always put that line of delineation there. which separates us from whatever else is going on, making us somewhat more exclusive, somewhat above the rim. Are we? No, we're not. We're stuck. We're stuck. All of us are stuck, and we need to be stuck for the right reasons. It's that, and the right reason is that you're stuck. That you have trouble with this particular area or that. Let's see. Blockhead. Oh, I like that. Blockade. y'all got it this morning. That is too funny. That is just too funny. So when we move on in the word, it goes to, this is beliefs. What a biasness is that's your belief. That's how you believe in certain things, and beliefs are acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists. Beliefs, and that doesn't mean it is. That's what you believe. You believe it to be true. You believe it to be correct. It says, and usually our beliefs is when we think we trust in our beliefs, or we listen to someone else, what they say, and that becomes a part of our belief. Barbara Stokes, depends on the lens we're viewing from. Living like it is, like a box of assorted chocolates. That's true. That's very true. Because some of us do live as if we are the only and the best chocolate in that assortment. Okay, that I had to tell you something about chocolate, just because that triggered my mom. My mother was so fussy about the chocolates that she would eat. She always liked Russell Stover's chocolate. So anyway, somebody had brought us some Russell Stover's chocolates for Valentine's Day, Christmas, or something, and she was funny because she would go through them by, this is terrible. she would push her finger down in it to see if she liked it, and certain ones she would not eat. Isn't that like us? Well, if there's certain things we're not going to do, we might not eat it, we might not go there, we might not like the who's company, who else is coming. What do? We dash on out of there, okay? Or we try it out and say, or we already know, so we won't try it out. Oh, it's funny. It's just funny how life is, but that's how our beliefs are. It says, ha, ha, ha. Oh, yes, smash your finger. My mother did it, I'm telling you. We always knew she had already been in the box. She said, oh, you can have them. You cannot do nothing with that but laugh about it. Oh, man. But anyway, the beliefs also talks about sometimes our faith. It tests our trust, our confidence, our reliance. Because sometimes, let's face it, we rely on other people to give us information. I have a story about a lady that always would watch. She would tell everybody what was going on in the block, but then it acted like it was national news or international news. And once again, my mother would say, how could you know, okay, everything that's going on in the world, and you only have this block to deal with? I mean, when you think about that statement, that's a good statement. Nobody knows everything. So some information has to come from others. So where did you get your information from? If you didn't see it on the news, did it really happen? Okay. It said, Whitman's chocolates are my favorite. Oh, I like Russell. I'm going to stick with Russell. I have to confess, I do it too. I knew, Debbie, you understood. When we move on in the word of bias, we talk about intolerance. When we think about our lives, sometimes we don't tolerate anybody. We're intolerant. So intolerance is the unwillingness to accept views, beliefs, or behavior that differs from our own. That's probably 90% of the world. To me, that's why we have international conflict. That's why we have national conflict, political conflicts, girlfriend conflict, husband, wife. Okay. It comes. It's there. Ignorance. I know that's right. Sometimes you're absolutely right there with that ignorance. Yes, it is. It is. I saw that. Oops, Life. I saw that, Barbara. Sometimes we just don't even know how we get on the other side of the fence. Not that we put ourselves there intentionally, but sometimes we just put ourselves on the other side of the fence just because of the way we answered. Sometimes it's the way we look. Sometimes we can get people looks that just say, "Whoo, Lord goodness, Lord goodness." I have to try to check my look. My mother always used to tell us, check the look. Okay. If your mouth is all poked out, okay, then somebody already knows you're mad. Conceal how you feel and don't let it be mirrored on your face. That's good. That's good. Initiate, injustice, ignorance, all those are good for the eye. So the intolerance also talks about, you know, fanaticism, prejudice, partiality, inequality, injustice, unfairness. Have you been there? Have you seen people do those things? Do they, do those things not start wars? you know and I think, something I remember being, taught when I was really young, that the war started over the way people positioned themselves, either what they thought was taken from them or what they thought someone had already, had discussion over and who it really belonged to. And those things got lost in the translation. And so people became, irate to the point where they, weapons became a part of the solution, and bad words. And, how many of us have gone through life? And, I was never a fighter when I was young. Never. you know I can remember having one little fight, and it was over something stupid. I think they were talking about my clothes, but anyway, it was something of that nature. But it died down quickly because my mother, wasn't going to have it where her kids were fighting. Now she would fight. She'd fight for you, but she didn't want us to be children that had grown up in a situation where we were always fighting about something and fighting over something. Initiate, injustice, ignorance, impose. That's a real good word. Impose too. All of those words are great words. Sometimes when we have intolerance, we are doing what? Imposing our views on someone else, initiating a fight, realizing that we've had an injustice done for us, and we might be a little ignorant. Come on now. Yes, we are all of those things, all of them. When we move further on in the word of biasness, I come to my A, and my A, really talks about abate. What is abate? Abate is of something perceived as being hostile, threatening, or negative. Have we not gone through life and known that we've had some hostility towards us, some threats towards us, and some negativity? That's how our lives are sometimes. It's not that you necessarily went out there, was pushing up on it, but it came to you. My mother said, you don't always have to look for trouble. Sometimes trouble finds you. You might be in the wrong place at the wrong time when trouble breaks out. You are there. So aggressive, that's really good. A war, absurd. Yes. How many times have we been in absurd situations that started over something that was basically a bait? We didn't realize we were on that side of it. We didn't realize that there was hostility towards us until we had to address it. All of those things are really, really good. So abate really talks about it being, let up, deceit, decreased, how we need to sometimes back down off of things, fade out of them. We need to slacken our attention towards it. Sometimes we rev up towards things. I don't. If somebody's fussing at me, you're probably not gonna have much conversation from me. I'm really done with it. It's costs too much. If I want to be fussed at, cussed at, then I'm not there for it. I don't, and people can't cuss. I mean, they do, but they're generally still mad at you. People like to cuss at you or be aggressive towards you. But if you're not there, then they might be, settle down. They might be it said they might be the ones that would recede and weaken that that aggressive conversation towards you. Atomic. I like that. Like a bomb. Yes. Acknowledge, action. All of those are good. Wasted energy. Yes. 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 Barbara, you know it. Adjust. Adjust is good too. Adversity. And sometimes, let's face it, we face adversity, not intentionally. It just comes to us, and we have to learn as to how we need to deal with adversity, because it does come regardless of what we say. It says when we really look at abate, it says to become less intense or widespread. So if we can back down something from something, that means we can be, we can abate it. We're gonna let that go. I'm gonna leave you with that. I always tell people, I'll leave you with that thought. We'll talk later. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. That means I'm probably not going to talk about it anymore, because it's a done deal for me. Next is my last letter I have today in, bias is solutions. What are the solutions? And it says a solution means of solving a problem or dealing with a difficult situation. To me, I think those countries at war and people that are just, angry with each other and all those kinds of things, they need to look for a resolution that would work for them. It says it's a means of solving a problem or dealing with a difficult situation. I want to deal with it now so that it doesn't be like a cliffhanger in my life, and I find that sometimes people have cliffhangers, in fact, I was talking about this in Sunday school yesterday. Sometimes we end up being mad. Some of my clients used to be mad at somebody for something they did 35 years ago. Well, guess what? The person went on with their lives. They're living their life. They seem to be happy. You see them. You still mad at them, but they're gone. Let it go. Let it go. So the solution in that instance is, for me, I would pray over it, pray for them, and pray that I can release the feelings I have towards what happened. How do you do that? You have to be okay with it. Slam. I'm gonna knock you out there. That's funny, Slam. But solution. That girl Debbie is a mess. Y'all don't pay any attention to her, because I do love her, but she come up with stuff that makes me laugh all the time. And would that be like Bam Bam Slam? Okay, done. Remember Bam Bam? Okay, y'all know I'm old. 35 years of wasted energy. There you go. There you go, Barbara. 35 years. So anyway, I think when we're really looking at trying to resolve anything, when we have a deep bias, a biasness, we need to really talk about what is the solution. If you can't, and sometimes the people have gone on to glory, they done left the world, and you still mad at them. You should have buried it when they went out of here. Let it go. Let it go. It has no place in your life anymore. It's taking up space in your head, taking up too much room in your heart. Open your heart back up, let it go. I used to tell clients to write letters and burn them. Write letters and bury it, let it go. It to me, it is wasted energy, and it would be serious, yes, Joan, and surrender. What is it? Is it the white flags? I'd be raising my flag. I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm not going to deal with that anymore. So the solution talks about having a resolution and a result, realizing that there is an explanation, regardless of how deep it is, how wide it is, how uncomfortable it is. Give it a final resting place and walk over it and go about your business. Walk over it. You're done with it. You're done. It says, understand that there's an unfolding that you may have to go through. when you get to that point where you're getting to the solution, and the point may be that laissez-faire, I'm done with it. In business, when they're done with you, it's laissez-faire. Okay. So understanding that you now have clarification and that you can move on. I don't know, my voice almost went out. But anyway, that's what I would do if I'm dealing with anything, dealing with serious biasness. For me personally, I know I have some deep things going on sometimes, something that may be disturbing me, but for the most part, I try to deal with them. I go into places that people probably say, why is she in there? But my school, my undergraduate school, I always tell you, it was 99 point probably 7% Caucasian. Did it matter? No. Some of my best friends that I still have now, there it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. That was my exposure, my exposure. And I love it. I love the fact that I had a wide range of experiences that gave me, the possibility to know that I acknowledge that I have beliefs, that sometimes are in the back of my noggin. They are in my unconscious mind, not my conscious mind. But for the most part, I try to be, a confident friend, worker, person. I try to be, so that I acknowledge who I acknowledge, see who needs to be seen and acknowledged, and I move on to it, and I give myself hope in that way, that I love my life, so that I realize in my biasness I may have crazy beliefs at times, like everybody else. There may be a point where there's intolerance, to the point where I work it through and I can tolerate others, that I might have to back down, which is my abating, understanding that I have to abate, and I have to come to a resolution that really says that I have found a solution for anything that may hold me back. Anything. And I give you the same thing. And he says, you are all of that and much more to all of us here. Oh, I tell you, Deb, I don't pay Deb to do this, but Deb is my sweet, sweet friend from years and years, and we connected, and I love that. Give it to God. I do. Skip it, surrender. I love all of the things that you all come up with. Once again, Meta, which is Facebook, keeps saying that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm trying to engage people and get them to understand the importance of talking, the importance of words, and how words can harm us from years gone by if we let them. They can make us feel good if we let them. They can destroy our beliefs if we let them. They can, make us happy if we let them. But we have to realize where we are in our life run here, and just make a hit towards being there for who we need to be here, therefore, and then being there for ourselves, right where we are, and acknowledging I'm not as pruned as I should be, but I'm still looking better than what I used to look. Okay. So I want you all to have a wonderful weekend. Let me see what Barb said. Barb says, this was a full of all the sorts of people. Wouldn't it be grand if they tried to learn to get along before judging on sight? I love meeting new people. I know that's what you meant. It says, as long as your feet are rooted and your foundation is stable, you can conquer anything. Oops, love. I knew that. I love what you all write. And sometimes the screen goes by so fast for me that I may have missed one. And when I go back later on, I said, wow, that was heavy. That was deep. But you all are just wonderful. And if you don't do anything else, you don't have to worry about, put no money or anything anywhere. I know that I know that's on my page. But if you would do something in this instance, just share. There's like been 10, 12 people that I'm looking at that's been in and out the room today. or I call the space today. If you don't do anything else, share it. Let other people know that I'm out here just trying to have a little fun and also learn a little something about each other along the way. Love you guys. Try to keep a positive attitude. Absolutely, Joan. That's what we have to do. We have to live our lives like there is today, and there's a great possibility that we might see tomorrow. So I don't want to do something today that's going to mess up my tomorrow. I'm intentional in that respect. But I'll see you on Wednesday. If anybody, I still give it open. I love you too, Joan. I love you too, Joan and Debbie. I love you guys. But listen, if you don't do anything else, come back on Wednesday. I'll have another word for you, okay? Have a safe day. And remember, your biases are sometimes just what they are. Your biases. Work through them. Love you guys. Thank you. Have a good day.